Have you ever stopped to wonder what really separates someone who's just good at their job from a true global icon? It's definitely more than just talent. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and deconstruct the very idea of fame itself. So let's start with the big question. What actually makes someone a celebrity? I mean, is it all about having some rare, incredible skill? Or is it just a creation of the media? Maybe something else entirely? For a long time, the whole debate about fame has kind of been a tug-of-war between these two big ideas. On one side, you have pure, undeniable talent, the kind you just can't fake. And on the other, you've got this idea that celebrity is just an illusion, something totally manufactured. The truth, as we're about to see, is way more interesting.
Now, to really get to the bottom of this, we need the perfect case study. And honestly, who better than the woman who didn't just master the celebrity game, she basically wrote the rules for the modern age, the one and only Elizabeth Taylor.
Way back in 1962, a historian named Daniel Boorstin came up with his brilliant, kind of cynical definition. It's a bit of a mouthful, but what he's saying is huge. Modern celebrities are famous just for being famous. It's a self-feeding loop. And that idea right there, it is the key to understanding everything that's about to happen.
And for Elizabeth Taylor, this idea wasn't just some academic theory. Nope, it was about to become her reality, on a global scale. And it all kicked off with one massive scandal that changed the game forever. Okay, so picture this. It's 1963, on the set of the epic film Cleopatra. You've got the two biggest stars in the world, Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. The only problem? They were both married to other people. An affair starts, and for a while, it's all just whispers and rumors. But then, a photographer snaps a couple of grainy photos of them on a yacht, and boom, the world absolutely explodes. The fallout was insane. The Vatican publicly denounced them for, and I quote, erotic vagrancy. U.S. congressmen literally tried to ban them from coming back into the country. But the most lasting consequence? This moment gave birth to a brand new breed of photographer, the paparazzi. And look, this wasn't just some fleeting Hollywood drama. Sociologist Ellis Cashmore called this a major turning point. Before this, stars had a public image and, for the most part, a separate private life. But after this scandal, that wall between public and private life came crashing down, permanently. From this moment on, a celebrity's private life was fair game. And with that wall totally gone, the sheer spectacle of Elizabeth Taylor's life took over. It became the main event, proving that whole famous for being famous theory in the most dramatic way possible. I mean, just think about it. The constant headlines, the public dramas, the unbelievable jewelry. Pretty soon, her personal life was way more talked about than her movies. The performance wasn't just on the big screen anymore. Her whole life was the show, and everybody was tuning in. And what part of her life provided the most drama? The most spectacle? Oh, that's easy. Her marriages. All 8 of them. You can just feel the drama looking at this timeline. It kicks off with a Hilton heir, then there's the tragic death of her husband Mike Todd, and then a huge scandal when she falls for his best friend Eddie Fisher. And all that, of course, was just the prelude to Richard Burton, the man she would marry, divorce, and then, unbelievably, marry again. This wasn't a love life, it was a 5-decade-long soap opera. And her life with Burton was just pure spectacle. The stories are legendary. Like this diamond. After a fight, Burton apparently called her hands big and ugly. Her response? You'd better buy me a diamond so big it makes my hands look small. So he did, this one, and it cost $1.5 million in 1969.
And the media frenzy never, ever stopped. Even her very last wedding, which was at Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch, of all places, was swarmed by helicopters. But here's the thing. By then, she knew exactly how to play the game. She sold the wedding photos for $1 million and donated every penny to launch her AIDS foundation, turning that relentless media obsession into something incredibly powerful.
All right, so we've seen the chaos and the spectacle. Now let's get into the theory a little bit to really understand the recipe that cooked up this kind of superstar. So, how do we make sense of all this? Well, sociologist Chris Rojek gave us a really useful framework back in 2001. He said there are basically 3 types of celebrity. You've got achieved fame, which is what you earn through actual skill. Then there's ascribed fame, the kind you're born into, like a royal. And finally, attributed fame, which is basically created and sustained by the media. And this is where it all comes together. Where does Liz Taylor fit? Well, that's the thing.
She completely broke the mold because she was a hybrid. She absolutely had achieved fame. I mean, a two-time Oscar winner, a phenomenal actress, but that incredible talent was then fused with and supercharged by this massive attributed fame from the media. The result was a whole new type of superstar, where you could no longer separate the talent from the story.
So, you might be thinking, okay, interesting story, but what does a movie star from the 60s have to do with the world today? Well, as it turns out, everything. Let's look at the blueprint she left behind.
Sociologist David Giles had this idea that being a celebrity isn't a final destination. It's a process. It's this constant, ongoing negotiation between the star, the media, and all of us, the audience. And Elizabeth Taylor's entire life was basically a masterclass in that negotiation. It proved that fame isn't something you just get to keep, you have to constantly perform it.
And that right there is her biggest legacy. By making her private life a public spectacle, she accidentally wrote the playbook for the future of fame. She proved that your personal story, your life, could be your most valuable asset. And that idea leads straight to reality TV, to social media influencers, to the whole world of the DIY star we live in now. Which brings us to a final, really interesting question. In our world today, where pretty much anyone with a smartphone can build a following, could a truly massive, larger-than-life icon like Elizabeth Taylor, that perfect storm of incredible talent and all-consuming media frenzy, even be created? Or was she a unique product of a time that's gone forever? Something to think about.